Well, you got involved with the Shirelles in the 60s, right?
What's that?
You got involved with the Shirelles in the 60s.
I created the Shirelles.
Wow.
I promoted the Shirelles.
Wait, did
I
you
put
say
10
what?
records in the top 100 for the
Did you
Shirelles.
say what?
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and I left the company
Did you say what?
because of Florence Greenberg, the Jewish mother. You know, some guy that ripped us off for about 90 grand.
Go back.
Asked her for a job,
Okay.
and she gave him a job. So I said, "Well, you give him a job, I'm not going to be here," and I left. Basically, that's why I left. I left there after I had at least 10 records in the top 100.
Well, after those 10 records, they didn't really do much after the 10
No,
records.
and when I left, the whole company died. They went out of business a year after I left.
Check this out. 3 years later, I'm playing we played corporate functions here.
Yeah.
And we opened up for Jay Leno. We've opened up for Smokey and the Temptations. Now, we opened up for the Shirelles here at the Desert Springs Marriott. And I'm talking to the management backstage. And I go, you know, none of these girls look like the original Shirelles. He goes, oh, actually, they're not. We just own the name. So we have 28 Shirelle acts. And we place them all over the United States. Yeah.
Yeah, because Shirley, who's the
and
lead
Florence
singer,
didn't
does
get
her
along.
thing.
And Beverly
Shirley
didn't
does
get
her thing, and Beverly does her thing.
They didn't get along or something, I heard.
They never got along.
Right.
We had a #1 record, and we played the Howard Theater, and they got fired after the first show. They were so bad.
Wow.
The management came to me and says, if you don't ship them up or shake them up to come back on stage for the next show, they're over. They're out of here. You know, step together and move together and do something to make themselves look like they were something, to keep the gig, or else they would have lost the gig at the first show. And Will You Love Me Tomorrow was #1. Dedicated to When I Love was #5. So they had 2 records in the top 5, okay?
Oh my
But
goodness.
they couldn't even walk on stage probably. They were like klutz, you know, trying to get on stage.
Oh my.
Wow.
It was rough. It was rough.
Wow, Wally, that.
You know, but the thing is that they did a European tour with Dionne Warwick. We had just gotten Dionne Warwick, and we just started out with Dionne Warwick. And Dionne was the opening act when they went to Europe. So by the time the shows were over, Dionne Warwick was like the #1, and they were like the opening act. You know, it was like turned all the way around.
Yeah.
Dionne Warwick was a star, and they were just they were like a star, but not quite as big as Dionne Warwick
Right.
at that time. The same thing happened with the Commodores and the Jacksons. The Jacksons opened up for the Commodores the first time they went on a national tour, and then the next time they went out, the Commodores opened up for the Jacksons because the Jacksons had busted wide open. You know,
okay.
stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of
It's all about
stories
the
like
audience
that.
and
It's interesting how things work out.
But it's the reality is that Beverly was rough.
Oh, okay.
You know, and Doris was the girl that sang Dedicated to One I Love. I brought that record from the Five Royals. The Five Royals did it first in the South. I was in the South and I heard the record, and we wanted a song for Doris because she had a high voice. So I brought it to Florence and the Scepter, and I said, this is a perfect song for Doris. And then she had her son copy the arrangement almost to T, like what the Five Royals were, and made it a song for Doris. And that's how we got Dedicated to One I Love.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Carole King wrote Will You Love Me Tomorrow? And Carole King did the strings, and King Curtis was the leader of the session. He got the rhythm, and Carole King wrote the string arrangements, and she wrote the song also. So we did that in the basement of 1650 Broadway.
Wow. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Carole King just did it on
And
tour
the thing
with
is, they
James
hated the song. The
Oh, they
Shirelles
did?
hated the song. Shirley, for some reason, couldn't sing the song through. He had to like punch in, will you love? He had to punch it in
Oh,
to get
no.
it together. Luther Dixon, the producer, punched her words in piece by piece.
And she couldn't get it all together.
She couldn't do it all together. She couldn't stay on key and do it all together.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So it had to be. It was rough. It was rough. Hey.
Wally, what makes them stay? I mean, for them to go to that trouble to do that, you would think they're just, you know what, we can't use it, let's get someone else.
It's all according to the producer. The producer that produces a record can make you like shit, or they can make you like honey. And some people have honey and they turn it into shit, and some people have shit and they turn it into honey.
Now here's my point. Wally, check it out. Now when they're singing, how was she live? Or was it recorded?
Well, once you have
'cause
something to
couldn't
listen
use-
to it and you can rehearse with it, you can almost just like copy. She copied herself.
Yeah,
and she
so
learned how to
it took her
sing.
that long.
You learn how to sing it from
Wow.
listening to the record. Listen to the record, you learn how to sing
Wow.
it. You know?
Quite fast.
Yeah.
And it keeps you, you know, it's like you hear yourself and you sing and you just, you know, learn it because it's there.
It was really fast. I love
But the producer, Luther Dixon, put it there. Same thing with the Isley Brothers. Isley Brothers, I brought the song to Luther on Twist and Shout. My buddy wrote it, Bert Burns wrote it, and a friend, and I said, yeah, this sounds like a hit. So I gave it to Luther, and he showed it to them. They said, no, that's a piece of shit. We don't want to do that shit. You know? So meanwhile, under duress, they recorded it one night, and then broke up all the furniture in the studio and left. You know, because they hated the song.
Twist and Shout.
The Isley Brothers.
Isley Brothers, when they first did Twist and Shout.
Twist and Shout.
They didn't like the song.
When they recorded Twist and Shout, they hated the song.
Oh,
and thought
wow.
that was a piece of shit. That was a copy of Shout and this and that and all kinds of crap because they didn't find it. I found it. Okay, I gave it to Luther to do it with them because I believed it was going to be a hit.
Yeah.
So Luther recorded it because Luther did basically everything I told him to do because every hit that he had, I picked it to make it, to promote it and market it. So all the hits that Scepter and Wand had, I basically was behind it all the time as far as making it happen because he would bring something to me and says, what do you think of that? I said, no. You know, if it doesn't sound like it's going to get together on
had
the
a good
street.
ear for,
yeah, I hear
yeah,
it for
you
the
just
street.
had a good
You know,
ear, yeah.
if it's not good for the street, it's not happening.
Yeah. Wow.
So we did the Twist and Shout. They hated it. They broke up all the furniture, left the studio, and told Luther to kiss their ass and whatnot, or whatever. So Luther stayed there all night till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Called me about 5 o'clock in the morning. He says, "Come here, I got something for you to hear." So he had mixed Twist and Shout, and he made 10 acetates for me to take to Philadelphia or wherever I wanted to go with it to get it started. And that's what I did. I gave it to the Gita in Philadelphia. I don't know if you heard of the Gita. He's a DJ. He's involved in a lot of the doo-wop shows and stuff like
And
that.
the Philly sound. Back
Yeah,
then.
and I gave him all 10 copies. I
Wow.
said, break the record. Within a week, we were back ordered 10,000 records in Philadelphia on that song.
And then the Beatles come out with it a few years after that.
Yeah.
Oh, shake it, baby.
It's one of the biggest records they had. But the point of it is, that's how records happen. Sometimes the artist or the writer don't even recognize what they have. I've taken songs out of the garbage can that writers threw away that were great and got something to record them.
I can't believe how many songs have been shelved because they didn't think they were hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankie Valli gave an example of "My Eyes Adore You."
Oh,
He
yeah.
said nobody wanted to
No.
put that out there.
Hey,
Gosh,
the first
I love
Whitney
that
Houston
song.
hit was sitting for Roberta Flack for 3 years and she wouldn't touch it until Clive Davis heard it and made Whitney Houston sing it. I don't know if you remember the first song she did, it was a hit.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
yeah, there's kind of a slow.
She said it was too sexy. What do you call it? Said it was too sexy.
I wanted to dance with somebody.
No, that's a fast one.
No?
This
It came later, but her first hit. I think,
Very first hit. Very first hit that
yes,
Whitney
yes,
Houston
wait a
had.
minute.
If you. Yeah.
Roberta Flack said it was too sexy.
Oh, the one about she's
Yeah.
sharing her man.
Minutes more.
It's saving all my love.
Yes, yes, saving all my love for you.
Yeah, I think it was that one. I think Saving All My Love for You. Something like that.
Something like that in that type of
Yeah.
that you came with. I want to dance with someone.
And that's how that happened.